All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really profound dialogue between the philosopher J. Krishnamurti and Dr. Allan W. Anderson. We're going to unpack a pretty radical idea about changing ourselves and, in turn, changing the entire world.
Okay, so let's just dive right in, shall we? Here's the central paradox, the big question that frames this whole exploration. This was the question put to Krishnamurti, and his answer, well, it challenges our deepest beliefs about how we can possibly heal a world in crisis. So, first things first, we have to understand what's at stake here. Krishnamurti doesn't start with some abstract theory. Nope. He starts with the reality of the world we've created, a world he sees as being in a state of pretty deep degeneration. He paints this picture of what he calls an appalling mess. You know, a world just drowning in political, religious, and economic misery. And he argues that the responsibility for fixing it can't be outsourced. It's not on the politicians, or the priests, or the systems. The responsibility is squarely on us. And this is really the crucial point, right? We can't just sit around and wait for some external force to change things. Krishnamurti says that these superficial changes, like, say, fixing pollution or energy crises, they don't get to the root of the problem. The only real change starts with the human being, with the very mind that created this mess in the first place. But to really get that, we first have to rethink something we totally take for granted, what it even means to be an individual. So this brings us to a fascinating look at a word we use all the time, individual. We all think we know what it means, but Krishnamurti really asks us to look a whole lot deeper. He points out that the word itself literally means to be whole, a complete, unfragmented being. You see, it doesn't mean separate, it means indivisible. It suggests a person who is harmonious, sane, and complete within themselves. And here you can see the fundamental disconnect. We think of an individual as this separate part, a name, a job, a bank account. But Krishnamurti argues we're actually completely fragmented, torn apart by all these contradictory desires. So in his view, we aren't really individuals at all, not in the true sense of the word. And this is where it all comes together. It connects our inner state directly to the outer world in a way that is both, well, pretty startling and also incredibly empowering. He argues that there's no real division between society and yourself. They're not two separate things that just kind of interact sometimes. No, they're a single continuous process. And wherever you have division, you're going to have conflict. So our internal state, all our pettiness or ambition, our brutality, that's not some private affair. According to Krishnamurti, these qualities are the actual building blocks of the society we live in. We have literally created this world through who we are inside. And this leads to this really powerful realization that just collapses the distance between you and everything you see out there. A human being isn't just some tiny component of society. The human being is the whole thing. And listen, this isn't just some clever philosophical wordplay. It's a statement of total, absolute responsibility. If you see this, not just intellectually, but you feel it, then you understand that if you change, everything changes. And if you don't, well, then nothing really does. Okay, so if we are the problem, why can't we just learn our way out of it? I mean, why hasn't all our progress and all our information fixed us? This brings us right back to that initial paradoxical question. Think about it. We have accumulated these vast libraries of information. We've got centuries of philosophy, psychology, science. So why hasn't all this knowledge led to a flowering of goodness in the world? Why are we still so conflicted? Krishnamurti explains it like this. Knowledge is always rooted in the past. It's basically a collection of stuff from yesterday. So when you meet a new moment, you're automatically filtering it through the lens of what you already know. And that prevents you from ever meeting the present moment completely fresh. And this is where it gets really fascinating. He finds this hidden insight right inside the word tradition itself. The root word, tradere, doesn't just mean to hand over, it's also the root of traduce, or betrayal. So to live in tradition, to rely only on the knowledge of the past, is to literally betray the present moment. And this is the practical, everyday result of that betrayal. Our relationships, they aren't really between people. They're between the image I have of you from yesterday and the image you have of me from yours. There's no real contact, just two memories meeting each other. So this whole line of thinking forces us, you and me, to confront a final and honestly a deeply challenging question about our own minds. If knowledge is the trap, how in the world do we get out? I mean, the brain's main job is to record, to create images, to rely on what's known just to survive. Our entire psychological structure is built on this foundation of memory and experience. It's just what it does. And yet, Krishnamurti insists that this repetitive cycle of living from the past has no real meaning. He feels this immense urgency about it all, saying that with the world in its current state, we just don't have time to fool around anymore. So that's where we're left, with this massive question. If our entire mental structure is built on the past, on knowledge, on the known, is it even possible to be free from it? Can we see the necessity of knowledge for practical life, but somehow end its psychological authority to create something truly new in ourselves, and therefore in the world? Krishnamurti doesn't offer a method, just an invitation to look. And maybe the real transformation isn't an answer we can learn, but a freedom we can discover the moment we stop searching for it in the past.